Welcome back to another game of Steel Division. Today we're playing on the Russian side, going up against the Axis. We're using the 184 Strelkovy going up against the 14 infantry. These are both infantry decks. So right in the centre there we've got quite a large force pushing up here, and we've got a couple of small units over here just going to hold this right side there. So we've got a MG set up on this house here. Basically anything trying to come up through this forest is going to run into them. Then we're going to have a couple of light tank, these M5Ls and a BA-10M, just set up along this ridge to try to knock out anything that tries to push up. So in the centre, our goal is to push into this town here. So we've got a bunch of these M5Ls, zoom in on them. So they're a 30 cost light tank, got a couple of Brownings. And we basically sent them into this bushland so they can get an extra terrain bonus, and our BA-10M recon vehicles, they're coming up now to provide vision of all their units as they come up. We also set up a couple of these AT guns and a sniper team. Panzer IIs trying to back up there, getting knocked out by our recon vehicles. So with that we do take the town. And we're now just bringing up a mortar team. They're going to start dropping some smoke, and we're going to start bringing up our infantry to push and hold in this town here. We're just dropping smoke so that we can deploy our guys. Bring up some sappers. Got the TNT charges with a DP-28, a bunch of SVTs and a couple of PPSHs. Very good at dealing with close range infantry. Over on this left side, our allies just pushing up into these towns. Running into some light tanks, and sappers are moving up to try to clean this town here. He's also made a bit of a push onto the enemy side of the town, running into a lot of infantry there. So we're now just focusing on defense. Now that our light team's kind of cleared up the enemy units that were in this town, we can now start bringing up our infantry, and they're going to start filling out the defenses for this town. I might make a note that the 184 Strelkovy deck is a defensive deck, which is a C rank, which means that it doesn't really have much offense capability. We spend majority of the game just defending positions, So it's got a lot of these towed artillery, plenty of bombers that you can bring in, and you basically just want to try to hold what you have and win without them kind of making any real pushback onto your territory. The enemy deck, on the other hand, it has a pretty weak phase A, but then once you get into phase B and C, I've made it so that they get a lot of Stug 3s and Tiger tanks. Some machine gun nests going up against some grenadiers. Managed to force them to get pinned down. So the defense is starting to shape up now. We've got some sappers, some Strelkovy, which are your standard units with the Moser Knights and the DP-28, and with some AT grenades in case any arm gets too close. We've got a sniper team set up, some more sappers, some MGs. And we've also brought up some more Strelkovy, some sappers. These guys are just a small assault squad, good at dealing with armor. Let's just going to try to hold this flag because I noticed that bulge in there. Starting to reposition our AT guns. Try to get them out of the open. And I noticed my ally brought up some infantry, but they were getting suppressed by this MG42. So I thought I'd bring over my VA-10M and M5L. See if we can provide some support there. I also noticed that we were struggling a little bit to make an advance into this town. We kind of want to take this town as soon as possible. We want the flags to be very much in our favour before phase B begins. So I'm going to start dropping some artillery using my howitzers. They're only light howitzers, so it's not a lot of damage, but we're just trying to suppress them, and we're now actually bringing up our own reinforcements to help secure this side. Our tank and recon vehicle did a good job of taking this flag. And we're just also bringing up some more reinforcements just to hold this town here. So moving up now, got our Strelkovy coming up. So that's phase B now. We're going to start seeing a lot of Stugs coming up. I think this is actually an anti-tank Stug. So a tank destroyer. Which they could bring up in phase A, but they only had a few of them. Got our machine gun crew held up in the church. And we're just slowly advancing forward. Meanwhile, just keeping the pressure on with those howitzers in the back there. We've also brought up our flak cannon. So I'm just taking some shots at that plane overhead. That's an 85mm, 145 pen. Can knock out a tank. And we've just got another howitzer coming up. Basically just trying to set up like a ridge of artillery and flak. Some more reinforcements here. Just some sappers, assault squads, really good at house-to-house combat and dealing with any armor that tries to move up. Allies actually bringing up a LA 5F10. How chunky that is. I've also got some Autosmith Sneaky coming up. I basically just want to bring up some units here that I can push over into this forest and secure this flag here. And we've got a flak cannon coming up. I noticed that Stug taking shots at my guys, so I'm just gonna trying to wheel them back. Meanwhile, we're just helping our ally by supplying some artillery support. Dropping some mortar rounds into that forest, just in case there was anything there. You can actually see there was some S-trooping that they're kind of like falling back now. Over here we set up a couple of MGs, another one here, there's our flak cannon. Really good at dealing with infantry. And we've got an AT gun coming up. A couple more MGs. You can just see it's very defensive. I'm just kind of setting up all the MGs to try to stop their infantry from moving forward. And then I've got my assault team set up in their housing around this flag for any of this armor moving up. You can see the Tigers just kind of hanging back there. Another Tiger there. Those tanks that my ally had brought up are all just kind of getting picked apart from that Tiger. I moved up my vehicle just to see if anything was there, and it just kind of bulged out, so I think their forces are still hidden in these forests over there. Now I'm just bringing up some supply trucks. I think these guys actually, yeah, completely ran out of howitzer shells. My ally bringing up some Valentines. Just a 55 cost light tank. Can deal with medium tanks, but only if you get close enough. And I've also got another flat cannon moving up. It's going to kind of protect this side of the ridge. At the moment I didn't really have any anti-armor or any anti-air. Some more forces that are going to push into this forest. So I know there's a lot of concentrated forces up on this hill here. So we're just going to start dropping some artillery into them. They're starting to creep forward a bit there. And just a rough idea of how much artillery we're actually throwing down at them. It's just from the supply truck here. You can see it's normally got a supply value of 10,000. It's actually down to its last 3,500. Just keeping these guys resupplied. I also saw this Tiger tank coming up close, so I'm just dropping some smoke with my mortars over here. Sorry, one of my howitzers over here. That's going to provide a smoke screen, stop it from getting vision of my light tank. So I'm going to just try to hold that ground there. A lot of my focus was on artillery this game, since it is a very defensive deck. You've got a lot of time to kind of work on your artillery. Bring up another flat cannon now. Got my anti-tank rocket. Unfortunately, he's under a little bit of stress from that flat cannon. Managed to destroy the tracks on that Tiger, so we can't keep pushing forward. And you can just see now the Tigers are starting to slowly advance up. getting nice and close to my sappers. Should be able to knock him out. There you go. Yeah, you can just see the stress he was under from that flak, causing his rockets to kind of fly off in different directions. So although I had the angle right, I just didn't have the accuracy to kind of knock it out. But with that, we get the victory. So it is a minor victory, but in 21 minutes. We've got 1,000 kills, 300 losses. So not a very eventful game, but it kind of shows you how you can use artillery to your advantage. Once you've kind of secured a position, there's no need to keep advancing. If you're using a defensive deck, you can actually just kind of keep your focus on artillery, making sure it's hard for them to push back and try to counterattack. But thanks for watching.